Welcome to Mind Your Heart podcast, your favorite corner of the internet where we chat about all things mental health. I'm Emily.
And I'm Trina. Together, we're like your real-life Lorelai and Rory Gilmore. Each week, we'll bring you real conversations about the world of mental health, and we will peel back layers on topics like anxiety, depression, and much more.
We're here to chat with you about the tough stuff, the everyday stuff, and everything in between. So grab your emotional support water bottle, I know we have ours, find your comfiest chair, or keep your eyes on the road, and let's get into it. Are you ready, Mom?
Absolutely. Join us as we mind our hearts and hopefully make minding yours a little easier.
Welcome back to Mind Your Heart.
Welcome back.
I'm Emily.
I'm Trina.
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
All right. So today,
Oh, not how you doing? You're doing nothing.
I'm doing good. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm doing all right. How about you?
That was like such a high pitched, like, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm doing all right. I mean, the things have been exciting
Yeah.
with you, so that's been really fun. Yeah, I've been working like crazy.
Yeah.
When this comes out, I'll be about to launch my workshop for the love of reading. Very
Why don't you talk
excited.
about that? At least just tell us what it is.
Okay, it's a workshop for parents or caregivers or even teachers who care deeply about their child's feelings about reading, and they want their kids to love reading, and they know the value of what that means, and they are trying to figure out how to help them love it. And so I'm offering a workshop. It's like around an hour, and we'll talk about things, quick tips, things that we can do, even though we have if someone has a very busy schedule. Making a reading identity. We'll also be talking about things that are getting in the way of kids loving to read, because there's a lot of things. And and I'll offer a Q&A, and then they also get like a comprehensive notes, and I'll be providing top recommendations of books per age.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a little bonus. And so I'm very excited about it, because I think it's going to really help parents that are looking to, help their child.
Yeah.
And inspiring a love of reading has always been a massive passion of mine. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm
That's
excited.
exciting. Yeah.
I have another YouTube show that I
Nice.
started. I started in January with a live challenge of going live every day. That's hard. Mm-hmm. That's hard. I think it's okay Monday through Friday, but Saturday and Sunday are really hard. And I actually picked a super difficult topic we're recording today on a Saturday, and I had a hard topic on this recording day. But I was like, I'm way too tired to talk about the bad thing that comes when people time reading. And so I was like, this is a
I didn't even know people did that.
timed. Yeah. You never had to read with a timer so that they could count how many words per minute, or like timed reading tests. That was a
that's
problem for you with the SATs. That's part of the reason why it makes me so angry.
Yeah. I guess I block it out.
Yeah. I mean, it is
Because I just was like, why are you timing me?
you probably didn't notice.
Yeah.
I kept it pretty like on the down low, because
Yeah.
I didn't want kids to feel like I was timing them,
Yeah.
but it was a data point that we had to take as a teacher. But parents don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've noticed in the homeschooled world, a lot of people aren't sure exactly what to do, so they end up doing some of the crappy things that they didn't want to do in the school system. And so I think it's important to find things that align with what you believe, and because most people didn't send their child to the school system for a reason.
Yeah.
So and I hate that teachers have to do things like, I hated doing that, because first of all, it was like, who cares? And everybody was really concerned about reading or fluency or reading words, how fast you were reading impacting your comprehension.
Yeah.
And they're like, if you can't read fast, you're not comprehending. Well, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it didn't always, and I won't go on that because that's a whole, like a separate subject, but it just, yeah. So it's stressful for kids to be timed. Like you're
it's
sitting
stressful
there.
for anyone to be timed on anything.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I don't like being timed to get ready.
Yeah.
And I have to be sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So I that's
coming up.
That's coming up.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, life's good.
You went on a date.
I did go on a date, but who knows what's going to be of it when this episode comes out.
Yeah.
I went on a date.
People like to hear about that.
I agreed to go on a second date, which is, I don't think I've ever done. So, I'm like,
nice.
I mean, obviously in high school when I met your dad, I did, but that is literally the only other second date. So this is the second date of my life.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Props to him. You made it, brother.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway.
Today we were talking about friends and the importance of having like girlfriends and just those kinds of relationships in your life.
And the value in life. And I'm dedicating it actually to some friends.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to shout out to these people and to my friend Angie. This was her idea. Angie and Jody and Eileen and Mauden. It was a group of people that we did like a girls' night for Christmas.
Yeah.
So fun. Yeah. First of all, we've been friends, oh my goodness, since we were in high school. And although Angie and I hated each other in the beginning because we fought over a dumb boy, I know. But then we ended up becoming such good friends. We ended up living together in college. Like she was my roommate in college for a little while. And we have been friends for so long. There was a period of time that she was mad at me because she felt like I was isolating myself. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this subject. I was isolating myself, and I explained like years later that I was hurting. You know, I was really hurting, and I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed to be in the situation that I was in. I didn't like myself, and I didn't like what was going on around me, and I didn't have any energy to put into any friends, and I didn't want to explain myself.
Yeah.
So I kind of shut people out of my life. And, you know, that's so hurtful. It's hurtful to people. It's also hurtful to yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to, even when you are married and you have a relationship, I think it's so important to hold on to the girlfriends because you want to cultivate all the parts of you.
Yeah.
And even if your partner is your best friend, there's something different about having a girlfriend. Yeah. So I just think that those friendships are really important. And then, like in this case, you know, we're talking, you know, 16 or 17 years old to, you know, 50 in our 50s.
Yeah.
Like that's a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, that was how Eileen and I became friends a little bit later than that. And then Jody, high school, and she moved from Mississippi, I think it was. And I mean, just the memories that I have with these people it runs so deep. Like, and so getting together and doing that was so fun. Eileen wanted us to dress up in these ridiculous pajama outfits. And I was like, I'm absolutely not doing that. I was like, no way.
Stubborn.
Yeah. Because I thought she's not going to have gotten a size that's going to fit all of us. And I'm not wearing these pajama boxers.
She didn't get like different sizes. She
did get a variety of sizes. And and they actually did fit. So, I mean, they were loose and baggy but that was fine. It was better than being like really tight. And then I actually still sleep in those pajamas because they meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And then one of them was like Christmas pajama boxers and a tank top from Target. But
Target's got good stuff.
Yeah. But I mean, like I I am, they're so comfortable. So we had these like tall Christmas socks on and our Christmas necklaces and Christmas headbands, and it was just really fun. And we were like doing a photo shoot, which is sounds so silly at this age.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't think it's silly.
It was just fun. The only other time I remember, like, because we didn't live in the social media time. So, but we did have a friend who had a camcorder, which is like a video recorder.
Yeah. I know what it is.
And we would make up these videos, and Angie was there. Eileen and Jody weren't there. But Angie and another friend, a couple of other friends, I don't know if Eileen was there. Maybe Eileen, I don't think so. Anyway, we were like shooting little video. First we were pretending we were animals, like from out in the wild. Yeah. And then another one, Angie was like Ted Bundy, and we were pretending to interview Ted Bundy, and I was some pyromaniac and who was like talking to a pet parrot on my shoulder, and I was deep into character. Like I am like really acting like I'm schizophrenic and like this parrot is talking to me. And I'm talking about fire and how I love fire. And Elena is holding the camera and just you could just hear her laughing into the camera. The whole camera shaking while they were recording. And it was just it was so fun. Yeah. It was so fun. And we were like old enough to like go do stuff, but we just, it was a rainy day and we were bored. And so we just videotaped. Yeah. I would love to have that right now. That would be so funny to see. Yeah. So I don't know. It's really important to have these kinds of friendships in our lives and not to like let go of and just let people dwindle into the past. I mean, I have had friendships like that where, we were friends for like a season of friendship and then not anymore. And that for some of those people, it's been it was heartbreaking. Yeah.
Well, because it's like a loss.
It's a loss, yeah. Yeah. And you always feel left like, what did I do? Like, why? Like, that's how I've taken it for some reason. And, yeah. So, with these lifelong friends that you make sometimes, you go through your different seasons of life, but you know that you can always come back to them. Yeah. So, it's special.
Yeah. I don't think I have anybody that is from high school that I'm like friends with anymore. I mean, like I like still talk to only just one person every once in a while. But like my friends now are like the people that I'm like, these will be the people that like my kids will say like, Auntie Grace. Yeah. Like, I know, like, that's how it'll be. So, like, it's like, this is the best I've ever felt about the friends that I've had in my life.
That's good.
Yeah. And, like, it's like a group of women that, like, I trust, and I also, like, can be completely, like, myself unapologetically. Which is, like, so crazy, like, how hard it is to find, like, new...
For sure.
Friends.
For sure.
I think that's definitely, like, the world that we live in now kind of thing, because I don't know, or maybe it's just like when you get older it gets harder.
I think it gets harder when you're older. I think it's also harder when you work from home. I think that makes a huge difference, because I'm sitting there thinking about what was going on at my life at your age. Yeah. And I was still really, I mean, I was just finishing college. I don't even know if I was finished with college at your age. Actually, I don't think I was. But I was like really social still. Like I still was out and doing things and not at home very often. Yeah. So I think it was a little bit easier. And then even when I worked, like I had friends at work. But sometimes those friends transferred beyond work. But sometimes they didn't. Sometimes it was just friends at work. Yeah. Which I think friends at work are nice too.
For sure. Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely remember like when I did work at certain places, like there are people that there are people that like I will talk to and like we'll pick up where we left off. Yeah. But like it's not like the kind of person I talk to in my everyday. Yeah. Yeah. Which like
they don't know all of your stories. Yeah. All of your. But I mean, some of those like my work, like Melanie and Alexis, like they've been Like, that's a
Yeah.
long friendship. And
Yeah.
we still have to this, and we know what's going on in each other's lives. And
Yeah. I think it's okay to have different types
I do
of
too.
friendships.
Yeah.
And this is something that actually Nicole, our pastor at Centerpoint, she talked about this. Like, she did a sermon on like the different seats that people have in your life, where like you have work friends, and then you have like the pick up where you left off friends, and then you have like the ride or die friends, like the people that you go to like if they need to bury the body with you.
Yeah.
Like, you have like the friends that you go to when things are good, or you have friends that you go to like when things are like really rough. Like, you just have different types. And
Yeah.
I was like, ever since she did that sermon, I was like, it's such a good way to look at it, because fitting everybody into one specific,
doesn't.
it ruins the relationship that you do have
Yeah.
with them, because like nobody's gonna be able to fulfill all of the seats.
Yeah.
So like you have to fill the seats with different people, so that way, like, okay, well, like I can't really go to this person
Yeah.
with this, but I can go to this person with it. So, because I'm like, there are like my one of my closest friends, Grace, she, like, I go to her like with my day-to-day stuff. Like, she knows pretty much everything that's going on in my life. But I also, like, Dakota is also like one of my closest friends too, but like she lives further away, so like we see each other once a month, so like she still knows everything that's going on, but she's not always up to date.
Yeah.
So it's like a different,
Yeah.
like, both of them I would consider two of my best friends, but like they're just different. They're different roles for different things. So I think that's also something to like just keep in mind, especially when I think it's so hard when you graduate high school and you go into college, or you go into like that age of like your like young 20s, is like you're like, I don't know how to find friends. Like, all I know how to do is follow people on Instagram at this point. Like, that's what people know.
Yeah.
And like, I've had some of my girls who like I'm a small group leader for, they're like, I don't know like what to do.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm not in high school. And I'm like, it's definitely hard. Like,
Yeah.
you have to put yourself in some
have to put
uncomfortable situations.
And you want to find activities or things that you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to do it alone at first.
Yeah.
And
Which we're not like used to.
Yeah.
And so like, which is a thing I think has changed, because, and maybe, I don't know, maybe that hasn't changed. I guess that would be more of a question for you. But when, I guess even before COVID, like when I was like like 18, 19, I felt like I did stuff and it was normal to just like go and like kind of meet people there, and like it wasn't weird or awkward. Like, it was a little bit like the normal amount, but it wasn't like somebody saw you by yourself and was like, why aren't you with someone? But now it kind of feels like everybody's like, ooh, like scared and like fragile around like social interaction. I think COVID really did like a number on the way that we interact with people in person.
I think that's a good point. I feel like it was more like that when I was like going somewhere by yourself was like, oh gosh, I'm
Really?
not going by myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like, I mean, I'm even thinking about, I don't remember ever just meeting friends somewhere. Like, we always came and picked each other up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I always am like, I'll meet you there. I
Yeah.
want to be going by myself.
me
and coming
too
back by
now,
myself.
but I definitely would have been like insecure or whatever in the past. So I think that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it definitely feels, yeah, but I do think when you put yourself in situations where you, like, I feel like I have good work friends, even though I work online, work friends now, some of which goes beyond work. Like, we talk all the time.
I feel that way too.
Like my friend Christy, we talk all the time.
Yeah. I've gotten like into
friend
like
Carrie.
friendships like with some of my clients even.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, one of my clients just had a baby, and like, and then we like just met the other day on Zoom, and like I told her about the engagement, and like she's just like the kind of person that like every time we talk, like, yeah, it's work related, but I'm like, I love talking to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, even like a girl that her name's Megan, she used to be my intern initially, and then she was a contractor for me, and like we still talk, and like I love talking to her. Like now it's not as much work related as it used to be, but
Some more
like
friend.
it was at the time. Like, but it was like my favorite part of the week, like when I got to meet with the team, because I was like, oh, Megan and I can catch up. So
I kind of feel like maybe it's gauged on like how much time you're willing to put in with a person. Mm-hmm. Are you willing to give them time outside of the work hours or outside of, you know what I mean?
I guess maybe say a little bit more about that. Like, what do you mean?
Well, I guess I mean,
like, what depends on that? Like the state of the relationship?
No, nothing depends on that. Oh. It's just that I find if I'm willing to give my time to someone, then I feel like maybe they're like, I wouldn't say a better, closer friend. I don't know what I'm saying.
I think that's where it comes into like just being different.
Yeah.
And like being willing to accept the fact that like certain relationships are like require different effort, require different like versions of your like emotional state. Like they're just different. Because I'm like, there are people that I'm like, yeah, I spend more time with them, but like I'm like, well, like I am closer to some of the people that I don't spend as much time with. Like I'm friends with people who have kids.
Yeah.
And so it's harder to spend in-person time with them.
Yeah.
But I also like would consider them some of my closest people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I think it just depends. Like on like this, on the state of the relationship. Also
your expectations.
Yes.
Of yourself as well. And not
expectations are so big.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first was like coming back from camp and like my relationships with camp people were kind of fizzling out because they all lived so far. Yeah. And I was really the main one putting in the effort. I was like trying to find, like I just wanted like that best friend, like that person that like could come to my house and like just sit and like do nothing with me or whatever. Because like I envisioned that from like high school. Like that's what I wanted when I was in high school. But like as like I evolved and cycled out of some friendships, I was like, maybe that's not what I want or need. And maybe I need to stop putting that expectation on people. Because like maybe I just can expect that they show up how they show up. And I can be okay with that. And if I need something more in a different area, then I can
communicate it.
Also see that in others too. For like sure. I don't have to rely on just one person for that.
Yeah.
I think that was something that's
probably a good lesson.
Like one of my high school best friends, like that I put a lot of pressure on her. I think there were some things that like were not great on both ends, but I think that I put pressure on her to be that like one person because that's what I wanted so bad because that's what I thought I needed in a best friend. But like the way that she was able to give love was not that way. So it was like I should have been like, okay, well like this is what you're willing to give and what you're willing to do. Like I need this as well, so I'll do this with you, but I'll do this with someone else. Yeah. And like that be okay. Like learning to be able to be like, just because it's also, I think it's a scarcity thing. Yeah. It's thinking in a scarcity mindset of thinking like, well, if I go with somebody else, then I'm not giving you as much. Like, no, there's enough to go around to everyone. Yeah. Just because I'm giving someone some of me doesn't mean that I'm taking away from another person. Yeah. So I think that's probably, which is something I just am now concluding right now in this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That also explains why sometimes I feel like I've been too much for people because maybe I have. Because I have that expectation has been so high for them to fill all the seats. Yeah. And it felt overwhelming to them. They're like, whoa.
It also makes you feel bad.
Yeah.
Because then you're also putting the pressure on yourself to be like, well, why can't they fill all the seats? What is wrong with me that they don't want to fill all those seats?
Yeah.
Nothing is wrong with you, and nothing is wrong with them. Mm-hmm. It's just that we need a community. It takes a village. When people say that, I feel like when I used to hear that, I'm like, all right. But now, especially seeing like my friends like have kids, I'm like,
definitely takes a village. Yeah,
it takes people, and it takes a lot of different people.
Yes,
to be able to support you and all the things, because I'm like, some people aren't going to be able to show up for you in this season of life, and others are going to be much better at it. And that doesn't mean that they're being a jerk or they're a crappy friend. It just means that that's not the capacity that they have and somebody else does. It doesn't mean they love you less. It just means that they're working on something for themselves. And I think that's a hard thing to recognize in the moment. Because it feels like, why aren't you doing what I need? Especially because it's hard to find, it's hard to find like good people.
I think so too.
Like your people.
So,
I think church has really helped me with that. Like, I've really like been able, like, going in person. I think that was such a big shift. I remember when I went to it's called the Her Conference that they do at Center Point every year. And Nicole was speaking, and this was during the time where I was only watching online. And I went to this because Jake was like, you should go, like, it's gonna be good. And I was like, okay. And she was like, Nicole is a very blunt person. And she was on stage, and she was like, we're in a time, like, where a lot of you, like, you watch on Sundays, like, online. She was like, that's great. I love that you do that. And she was like, but stop. She was like, you need to come. And at first I was like, okay, rude. Like, I'm still attending church because, like, I do think that is attending church. But she was like, you're not getting the energy of just standing next to a person. Like, you are missing that aspect of it. And I was like, I was annoyed when she first said that, because I felt like called out. I was like, well, it's like, I'm comfortable. I'm able. I feel like I'm more willing to watch. Like, and then I go every Sunday if I'm like watching online. And I remember after I like pulled her to the side, and I was like, I'm having a hard time, like, with what you said, because I feel kind of like almost a little attacked. And she was like, I get that. Like, I understand. And she was like, it's not an attack. It's just that we have lost the human connection in a lot of what we do with working from home and social media and using technology for everything. And she was like, there's something different about, even if you don't talk to people, just being in the presence of other human beings who are there for a similar reason. And feeling
that could really be in anything.
With church, with whatever you're doing.
Even with work. With work.
Doing things, working in person more, and like getting together with your company or whatever. Like
the energy that you get from other people, I can see that. I also can see why you felt called out, because I felt that way. When you said something similar to me.
Because it's a hard truth to hear, but I was also something that I needed, and then I did start coming.
It's so difficult. That's a whole nother subject, I feel like. Church and and like coming or person or whatever, or how, like things around church, like that. I feel like that could be another whole nother
for sure
topic.
Yeah,
but not right now.
Yeah.
I would like to continue it because I do have some questions and would have some things to say about that. But I think sticking to the point of, I think human connection, it is different in person than it is, because like even two of the friends I mentioned just a minute ago that I've met later on in life through working online, are one of them I've never met in person. She lives in Canada, so I've never met her in person.
I've only met Teresa once. One time. She's one of my closest friends.
Me too, in person. And she's so much littler than I thought she would be.
Teresa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Carrie, she was little too. I was like, you're little. Like, it was so shocking.
They were probably like, you're so tall.
Yeah. It's like your perspective. It's just different.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the energy that I felt with like old friends was so, it's fun to we're in a text thing and we like text back and forth, but it's fun to be in person. Like you feel, and like the touching. I miss touching.
Yeah.
And so that is another, like, that makes me feel emotional. One of the things, we took this one picture with all these socks. And we put our feet in. And so we were all like kind of on each other because we had to get in close to get everybody's legs. Yeah. And and that was just, it like filled me with like joy. Nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So as much as I do still love like talking on the phone, like that's still,
you're such a phone talker.
I am a phone talker. That's because I grew up in the 80s. And that's what you did. You had the phone with the long cord and the windy thing, and you were like all over the house with it. And the day you went to Radio Shack and got the really long cord, you were like, yes, I can go around the whole house like this. It was a whole new world. I mean, now you can go anywhere you want with your cell phone. But so I talked on the phone, and I only have really, well, that's not true, because Carrie and I can talk on the phone for hours, but Eileen and I can talk on the phone for hours. But she liked talking on the phone too. So we just talk, and we go about our day and do what other, I got my AirPods in. That's great. And we just talk on the phone. You're right. And you don't like talking on the phone.
I don't mind talking on the phone. I would prefer FaceTime. Like, normally when I talk to my friends on the phone, it's on FaceTime.
On FaceTime, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't call a lot of them. I think, occasionally, if they are like, I want to talk about this specific thing with you while I'm on my way to whatever.
Yeah.
But there's like, it's not just like to be like, hey, like, just chat, Like, if we're going to just chat, it's on FaceTime. Yeah.
It's, that's interesting. I think that's a generational thing. I don't mind talking on FaceTime, but I can't honestly see Eileen and I doing that because we're like multitasking. Today we were talking about getting old. Ouch. Like something fell in my shirt. That hurts. But we were talking about getting older, and because it's her birthday yesterday. It was her birthday. And I called on the text. I'm like, happy birthday. And I'm going on, and I'm like, wait, are you 50? I'm like, wait, no, you're not 50. How old am I? And I couldn't, like, this whole thing was going on the recording. And I was like, I go, how old am I going to be? And I was like trying to remember. And then I was like, forget it.
I don't even know how old you're going to be.
Really?
It's so hard for me to keep track because I can't ever remember your birth year.
Oh, 71.
Okay.
Yeah. So 54.
Okay. Somebody asked me and I was like, 50 something.
Yeah. So anyway, so Eileen calls and she's laughing because she heard the message and she's like, and I think, what did she say now? I can't remember. 51 or 52. 52? I think 52. Yeah.
She's probably like, great. Thanks for exposing my age on the podcast.
But anyway, so we're just talking about like how your brain, especially when you've known someone through so many stages of your brain, it's like, it's crazy. Yeah. And so we were talking about that. We were laughing about that. And then she was talking about, she goes, there's a carnation that just is right outside the window. And I was like, what? And I'm thinking, a carnation? And so I'm thinking, okay, like a flower is right outside the window. And she's like, that reminds me of my dad because her dad passed away. Yeah. It's been a long time now. We were talking about how we can't believe how long it's been. Yeah. And I was like, huh. I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard this before, that carnations make her think of her dad. Mm-hmm. And so she says, it's still there. And I'm like, well, where would it go? Yeah.
That cardinal is what she was talking about.
So then she's kept saying carnation. And then she goes, I'm going to take a picture of it and send it to you. And she's like, you're going to have to zoom in so you can see the bird. And I was like, what? The bird? And she's like, yeah, the cardinal. I was like, you said carnation. Yeah. And so we were laughing so hard over carnation and cardinal. And I wasn't even 100% positive that she said carnation. I'm like, no, she said carnation. I know she said carnation, and she did not say cardinal. And it was just, I don't know. And it's a dumb story, but it was so funny to us, and we were just laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Because the whole story made so much more sense when she said cardinal.
Yeah.
Like, because she said when they are all around, and I was like, well, sometimes there's carnations all around, so it was just, but I'm like, how did one just show up randomly outside the window?
Yeah.
So that was the part that didn't make sense.
It just went,
and then I'm like, oh, cardinal. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the things that you get to look forward to in life.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that for me.
Anyway, so it's just important to have relationships with other people, and if that means, and in-person relationships. I think online, I mean, like I Voxer with my friend Christy almost every day, and that I like that because we can hear each other's voices. But I think that in person makes a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I use Marco Polo with like our friends, like with my different friend groups and stuff, and that has been such a like connector of all of us, because like texting is so difficult, and also like you can't tell tone, like you don't know how somebody's feeling, like and with Marco Polo, like you can see their face and like obviously hear their voice, and it's there. It's like Voxer but with video, basically.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
And it can be as long as you want it to be. It stays there forever, so like you don't have to, you can take your time to watch it. Like I love Marco Polo.
Yeah,
so,
that's
like,
nice. That would be, I know we're not going to do a different thing, but I think but I do, it's interesting to think about like like friends that I don't really have a lot of friends where I do see them in person. I don't even see you in person that much, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast. It's like I don't see you. I don't see.
Yeah.
I mean, I see my mom and like Nanny and Steve.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need to do more in person things.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like it's important, and it does like it fills the different buckets that need to be filled.
And also it's like it gives you, like, I feel like we're out of social practice. So it's
for sure.
Yeah. So
which is why I was offended when Nicole had said that from stage, and then I was like, "You're not wrong."
Yeah.
Because I remember going home and talking to Jake and being like, "Nicole said this and what?" And he was like, "Well, like you probably should." And I was scared. I felt scary.
Yeah.
Because I also, like, at that point, I was, like, still, I didn't feel comfortable, like, in my own skin. So, like, things like that just felt hard. But also, like, staying at home, like, was not helping that.
Yeah.
Like, that was just feeding into those feelings that I was having that were negative. Because I started going out and, like, talking to people and becoming more comfortable. Because I put myself in situations to practice. So, like, it wasn't all great at the beginning. It wasn't like instantly like, wow, this is wonderful. Took time, but like now, like after a couple of years, like I'm like, I enjoy being there on a Sunday and like standing around and talking to people, and like not even just at church. Like now I've made relationships from people from church that like we do stuff together everywhere.
Yeah.
Like now I can go, like just last night I went to Orlando to see one of the girls I met through someone at church and celebrate her birthday, and like it was just so nice to like just sit in her apartment, and like we were watching Twilight, which is like she loves Twilight, and it was just like so funny.
I can't believe you jabbed the acting on Twilight.
Have you watched it recently? Because it is a rough watch.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I mean, I haven't watched it now, but I've watched really good things like Ozark or Handmaid's Tale.
You'd have to watch it because
it's bad.
It's pretty bad.
All right.
We were just making fun of it the whole time.
I was like, oh my goodness, she jabbed Twilight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, we were sitting there watching it, and even just, like, I would, like, say something as, like, a joke in response to it, and, like, she would laugh, and I would, like, we would be laughing like that, and it was just, like, it was nice to be able to like touch her arm and like connect about that and like laugh together like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that, I don't know how that would have happened if I wouldn't have started putting myself in uncomfortable positions to start to figure out who I wanted to spend my time with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, now I feel, like I said, like these are the friends that I know that I will have for a long, long time, if not forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just, friends are important. Your community is important.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Yeah.
It is for sure. It's funny that you say that about aunt. They'll call them aunt, whatever. I mean, that's what Eileen used to say all the time.
Yeah.
And she'd say that to her kids. I never did that. I never called, well, I guess Brett.
Uncle Brett, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we did with Brett, but I never did that really with anyone else. Even though I felt like Eileen has always felt like family to me.
Well, she was Jackson's godmother.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the same thing with Elena.
Yeah.
Who was Mike. Like, they were just always like, we know Eileen and Elena because they're Eileen and Elena. Like, those are our godparents. Like, so I didn't feel like that needed like an aunt or uncle title.
I forgot about that, actually.
It was just like, they were just part of the family anyways. So it was like that.
Yeah, but you didn't spend any time. Like, we went to see Eileen. We visited her in Alabama. That was so fun. That was really fun. That felt comfortable.
Yeah.
But you guys never saw Elena.
Yeah, not really.
And,
but I still felt like when we did that, I was like,
okay. It's just, I guess relationships just change.
oh yeah, for sure.
And they change. Yeah, they change. Eileen is definitely one that is like been steady for so long.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
The batteries.
Yeah, been steady for so long.
Yeah.
All right, well.
That's our cue.
Yeah.
This was a good one.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep. Have a good Monday or whatever day you're listening to this. Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment and tell us about your friendships and how that's been, and what if you're looking for some friendships, make some in the comments. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, we will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.
Bye.